Howdy, hi. It is Deer Job Sports College Basketball Picks and Predictions for Monday, November 24th, 2025. We are looking at the best bets of the day. Let's get into the video. All right, first things first, got to recap previous day's results. It was not a good day. We go 1-4 overall. We add someone to the banned list. Not a team, but an individual person. It is the head coach. We'll get to him in a minute. That brings our season record to 77 wins, 58 losses. We add $12 to the giveaway fund, bringing the total to 18. I'm going to recap these real quick, then we'll get on to the games we got for tomorrow. All right, so our only winner of the day, we faded what I think is going to be one of the worst teams in the ACC. We took Quinnipiac. 83-75 over Pitt. We had Quinnipiac plus 13.5. We didn't need any of the points. We could have taken them on the money line. That would have been a real nice plus 450 to 600-ish, depending where you got it. Schmack on the money line. So they win by 8. They shot 57% from the field, 65% from deep, 11 of 17. They lose the rebound battle. They tie the turnover battle. The problem for Pittsburgh was they couldn't shoot. 44% from the field, 32% from deep, 60% from the free throw line. That's not good. This Pittsburgh team is not good. They now moved to 4-3 on the year. They're going to lose 3 out of their next 4 games. They play Ohio State, Texas A&M, Villanova. Yeah, buddy, you are screwed. Pittsburgh season's already over, and they're 7 games in, so I don't know how you do that, but you did. All right, now we get to the losers. There were certainly enough of them. We had Georgia plus 2.5. Once this game went to overtime, you basically already knew it was going to happen. Dogs do not cover in overtime. And I'm not talking about Georgia. I mean like the dog catching points. If it goes to overtime, normally you're not hitting. We did not. We get hooked. Georgia plus 2.5. They lose by 3. Clemson 97, Georgia 94. Really didn't like the final inbound they had. They ran a guy back towards the ball and then did like a backward motion towards midcourt. There's only 4 seconds left. You cannot run the opposite way of your own hoop with 4 seconds left when you're down 3 points. Didn't love that. I kind of wanted Clemson to foul, so we could have at least gotten this to 2 and hit the cover. It did not happen. Clemson wins by 3. Existence is pain. That game hurt. Georgia had a really good start. Then they let Clemson come all the way back. Both teams' largest lead was 10. Clemson just edges it out. Next game, South Dakota minus 11.5. You have probably realized South Carolina State is no longer on the ban list. They almost won this game outright against South Dakota as the Coyotes win 82-81. They had a 9-point halftime lead, and then they proceeded to do nothing in the second half of this game. South Carolina State, 47% from the field, 84% from the free throw line. South Dakota, 29 of 61 for 48% overall, 30% from three-point land, 64% from the free throw line. They win the rebound battle. They lose the turnover battle by 5. I don't know how you have 18 turnovers at home to South Carolina State, but they managed to do it, so congratulations, you lost me money. Then you have this game. This is who is on the ban list. Everyone, I introduced you to Maine and their head coach, Chris Markwood. This dude is an idiot. I've now watched 2 Maine games. The first one, I didn't think he did a great job coaching. I more so thought it was his players just doing kind of some silly things. I watched what might have been the most egregious 3-point attempt play ever in the history of college basketball. Maine is down 3 points with 10 seconds left. This is off of a timeout. They have their true freshman, Ace Flag, take the ball out from underneath the opponent's hoop. So they got to go the entire length of the court to try to get 3, tie the game. They decide to throw the ball to mid-court with 10.8 seconds left on the clock off of a timeout. That is your best decision, is throw it to mid-court. It's an immediate turnover. Brown gets the ball. Maine has to foul. They shoot 2 free throws. The game is over. It was the most idiotic, dumbfounding coaching decision I have ever witnessed. Chris Markwood, horrible. Absolutely horrible. We will be fading the University of Maine for at least the next 2 weeks. This dude's an idiot. An absolute idiot. All right, and then our final loss was West Virginia -6.5. This one I'm really not even that mad at. Xavier just proceeded to shoot the lights out of the building. They shot 46% from the field, which does not sound very good. You're like, oh, it's, an average day. And then you look, they went 16 of 25 from three-point land, 64%. From three-point land, like I said, 16 of 25. From everywhere else on the court, all 2-point attempts, they went 9 of 30. How do you go 16 of 25 from deep and then 9 of 30 from 2-point land? West Virginia was the exact opposite. They went 19 of 36 from 2-point land. That's very good. Then they went 6 of 22 from deep for 27%. You're not going to win any basketball games when you make 10 fewer three-pointers than your opponent. West Virginia loses this game 68-78. That's a really bad trip for West Virginia. I mean, that's really bad. You lose to Clemson and then Xavier. That's gonna hurt their resume come March Madness time. They're gonna have to win out the rest of the non-con. They have games versus Wake Forest. I wonder, is that a true home game? No, actually, no. That is not a true home game. That's brutal. And then they have Ohio State. Is that a true road game? That is not a true road game. They got to win both of those. You 100% have to win both of those. All right, that's the recap. Let's get on to the picks for tomorrow. All right, we are going to get into it. This is going to be a jam-packed, loaded week for college basketball. Instead of the normal 5 plays, I'm going to be giving out a minimum of 7 every single day. It's feast week. There's games going on basically from noon every single day up until 2 a.m. in the morning with the Hawaii tournament. So you can bet basketball all day, every day, from here, honestly, all the way up until like Christmas. We got a lot of basketball. And it starts with Troy and Toledo. I'm going to take Troy minus the 4.5. This is an MTE. This one's played in Florida. Should be lit. It's Fort Myers. Game tips at 11 a.m. Let's get it. Troy 4-3 on the year. Coming off of a West Coast road trip where they lost their first 2 games. They lost their first 2 games. They beat San Diego State by 1 in overtime. Then they headed to USC where they lost to them by 1 in overtime on a 3-point buzzer beater. They're big. They're well coached under Scott Cross. It does scare me a little bit that they're traveling from the West Coast. They still haven't been home. But honestly, it's a bonding experience. You're going to grow closer with the boys. I mean, you go from playing San Diego State and USC to Toledo Rockets. That is a big downgrade. They should be able to get her done. Toledo 3-2 on the year. They just beat Youngstown State at home by 17. I did take the Penguins in that game, so here we are. This is by far the worst team that Todd Kowalczyk has had in arguably 6 to 7 years. I mean, he has put multiple dudes in the league. If you know Milwaukee Bucks point guard Ryan Rollins, where did he come from? The University of Toledo. Keontae George, before he transferred to Baylor, who recruited him out of high school? Toledo, Todd Kowalczyk. He knows talent. This year's team's just young, and when the guys that aren't young in the starting lineup are transfer portal guys from mid-majors, I don't trust them. This is their first time really hitting the road against a good opponent. I will take Troy minus the 4.5. Let's go. All right, game number 2. This one should be relatively easy. Give me Tennessee and Rick Barnes minus the 14.5. This is the Players Era Festival in Las Vegas. I still find it weird they do this the same weekend as the F1 race. Like, clearly people are there for F1 and not college basketball. But here we are. Tennessee's looked good. They've played a bunch of cupcakes. Rutgers has also played a bunch of cupcakes, but they managed to lose a home game by double digits. So I will not be betting them ever. Tennessee's 5-0. they beat Mercer by 16, Northern Kentucky by 39, North Florida by 33, Rice by 25, and then Tennessee State by 29. They don't return much from last year's team, but honestly, that's kind of been Rick Barnes' identity ever since this portal era. They just get a bunch of transfers. You can look at Dalton Connect. He came in from, North Dakota. You had Chaz Lanier. He came in from North Florida. Every single year, they bring in a guy in the portal, and you're like, all right, you're going to go to the league next year. Good luck. They do return one starter from last year. They also bring in a top 5 freshman. They have some transfers coming in from Maryland and La Tech. It's a veteran team besides Ament, who's going to be that lottery pick, like 6'10", power forward, 215, 220 pounds. Really good with the ball in his hand. Kind of looks, I'm not going to say a young Wemby, because he's not nearly as tall as Wemby. But he can dribble. He's like your point forward who can carry the ball down the court. You have confidence in him. Not going to take many pull-up threes, but he can get to the hoop. He's mid-range is good. Really good at basketball. Rutgers, 4-1 on the year. Their last game, they lost to Central Connecticut by 13 at home. This team is ass. They're young. They start 2 underclassmen, one of them being a true freshman, and then their entire bench is freshmen. They lack size at the guard spot. They do have size down low in their center position, but they lack size off the bench when it comes to guys actually coming in the game. I don't think this is the game you want to back them. It's their first road game of the year, and it's in Vegas with a bunch of young dudes. No thank you. Give me Rick Barnes and Tennessee. All right, next game we got. I think this is one of the better matchups of the day. Liberty Flames, and you got Vermont. This is top 10 of mid-majors in the past decade. Both these teams have been really good. I'm going to rock the over, 145.5. I am shocked the over is this low. Liberty is yet to lose this year. Vermont, their only road game they dropped was on the road to Buffalo by 4. That was also in overtime. I think we're going to get a high-scoring game. It should be close towards the end of it. Free throws definitely to come, just to try to get this game a little closer. Liberty's 4-0 on the year. They've scored 90 and 88 points against their 2 Division I opponents. They've also played 2 Division II schools where they scored 98 in both games. They make the most 3-pointers out of all Division I schools at 15 per game. You are not misreading that. 15 3-point makes per contest. They shoot at 46% from the field. Yes, a little of that is baked into the 2 Division II games, but they still put up 90 and 88 against both of their D1 opponents. The ball's going in the hoop a lot. Vermont, what are they not good at? Defense. It's ranked 226 in the country. They're also one of the worst rebounding teams. Both these teams don't really turn the ball over, so you're going to see a decent amount of shot attempts. I was shocked this total wasn't like 152, 153. I think this is way too low. The only thing we need to hit this is like a 76 to 70 ball game, and then we get there. Liberty, Vermont, give me the over 145.5. All right, next thing we got, it is the Creighton Blue Jays and the Baylor Bears. This is another Players Era event in Las Vegas. I'm going to take Baylor minus 3.5. This is a new-look Creighton team. It's also a new-look Baylor team, but I trust what I've seen from Baylor more in their starting games. Creighton's 3-1. Their only loss was on the road to Gonzaga by 27. At home, they beat South Dakota by 16, Maryland Eastern Shore by 39, North Dakota by 15. This team looks a lot different than last year's team. If you're used to Creighton basketball under McDermott, you're seeing Ashworth run around at the guard spot, and then you have Kalkbrenner down low. Both of those guys are gone. Also, Pop Isaacs didn't play much of last season because he blew out his leg, and then he transferred. I think, where's he at now? Texas Tech? Texas A&M? He's in Texas somewhere. Couldn't really tell you where, but he's down there. They bring in a bunch of transfers, which is not normal for a Creighton team. Normally, Creighton's kind of like a Marquette kind of deal. You come there as a freshman, they develop you, you play junior, senior year, and then you go work in insurance somewhere. But not this team. They're transfers. 2 of them are from Iowa. They have 1 guy from Howard, and then another guy from Charlotte. So it's really not, they're not bringing in the best quality guys. I don't trust them against a Baylor team that I think is going to be really good in the Big 12. Baylor, 3-0 in the year. Have they played anyone? No. They beat UT Rio Grande by 15, Washington by 9, although Washington's not going to be good this year, and then Tarleton State by 13. So they've played a cup take and then two decent high major teams. Well, a Power 4 and then Tarleton State. So take for that what you will. They are 100% transfer team, returning 0 players from their entire lineup. I'm talking starters and walk-ons at the end of the bench. Ain't nobody back. They've already beaten a Power 4. I trust them. I think I like Scott Drew more than I like McDermott because he's used to doing this with Baylor. They're a high transfer portal team, and that's what he does. Give me Scott Drew. Give me Baylor minus 3.5. I think they win this by 11. All right, next game we got, it is Ohio Bobcats neutral site game against George Mason. I'm going to take Ohio plus 6.5. I think they're 100% live to win this on the money line. If Jalen Breath plays, you're not going to really be able to check for an injury report, but he is questionable. He did not play his previous game. I think he's going to suit up here. They've been saving him. He's the secret ace you got in the back of your bullpen, but instead of the bullpen, you're going to play him in the starting lineup because you need him to win. Ohio, 1-4 on the year, but a few of those games are just straight bye games. They lost at Louisville and at St. Mary's. So realistically, in games they could actually win, they're 1-2, and their losses were a 4-point loss to Arkansas State, a 4-point win to Illinois State, and then a 3-point loss to Bethune-Cookman. If they would have had Jalen Breath against Bethune-Cookman, I 100% think they would have won that game. Breath is a 6'8" senior power forward. That is going to be very important in this game. Their backcourt's really good. You have, I think, the best point guard in the MAC with Pavlevsky. You have a strong center in Hadaway, but he is a bit undersized, 6'8", 240. George Mason doesn't have a giant down low, but we are semi-thin in the front court without Breath. So really, we just want Jalen Breath to play for our 6.5 to feel good. George Mason, 5-0. They've played no one. They played all home games against Wofford, Winthrop, a Division II school, New Hampshire, and Jacksonville University. So not anyone worth a damn. This is their first time hitting the road. They are a 100% transfer team. Like I said, they're bigger than Ohio down low, but I'm not concerned if we have our starting lineup that consists of Hadaway, Simmons, and Breath, because that'll be 3 dudes over 6'8", all in the starting lineup. So if he plays, I feel very good. Give me Ohio plus 6.5. All right, next bet we got, it is my favorite bet of the day. It is Elon on the road at App State. This is a true road game. I'm going to take Elon plus the 4.5. I'm also going to rock the over 143.5. We've already taken Elon once this season. They came through for us in that game. They now go up against App State. I think they're going to win this game outright. I've been very impressed with Kern's roster this season. I do think it's the worst one he's had in a while, though, so we'll see what happens. Elon, 3-2 on the year. They are directly off of a road game, losing to Miami by 29, but that was 4 days ago, so they've had a while to travel. Their wins are against the Division II school by 48, UNC Greensboro by 2, and then Gardner-Webb by 11. They shoot it well, 47% from the field, 39% from deep. They could use some work from the charity stripe. They only shoot it 68% from there. I don't love that, especially with my history this season of my teams not being able to make free throws. But this team's old. There are a bunch of transfers. I like Taylor as a coach. I think he can get it done. App State 4-2 on the year. They've played some absolutely disgusting basketball teams. They got wins over a Division II school, NC Central, who's one of the worst teams in the MEAC, Dartmouth, we don't even have to touch on Dartmouth, and then Charlotte, who is awful. Their losses, on the road to Central Michigan, that is a middle MAC school, and then at Ohio State by 22. They lack size in the front court. Their bench depth is basically all underclassmen, majority of them being true freshmen. If they get into foul trouble, or I don't know, maybe we see some massive fight and guys get ejected. If anyone off the bench has to play serious minutes in this game for them, I think they're screwed. Give me Elon. They have the better roster. They have very similar coaching. And then give me the over, 143.5. All right, final game here, and then we're getting to our almost bets. It is James Madison On the road, true road spot at FIU. Give me the Dukes plus 2.5. This is a weird 3-team mini MTE. It is Florida International hosting James Madison and Omaha. So each team will play the two other teams. I don't know why FIU did this. James Madison and Omaha are better than them from a roster standpoint. So you're just inviting them down to Miami to win and beat you while also being able to be in Florida. It makes no sense, but whatever. James Madison, 3-3 on the year. Their wins are against a Division II school, Coppin State, and then Towson. Their losses are to Akron by 14. That 14-point loss to Akron does not look bad because Purdue only beat Akron by like 21. Akron's a damn good team. Longwood by 10. That's kind of meh. And then the Long Island Sharks by 9. Who knows what to do with the Sharks? This is year 2 of head coach Preston Brandland. He returns one starter from their previous team. They hit the portal hard. James Madison has a lot of money. They spend a lot of money in their athletics. That's just kind of what they do. They should be getting better with every single game. The transfers they got, interesting. They went one high major guy, a few mid majors, and then 2 JUCO guys. The JUCO guys, I think, are both coming off the bench, unless they switch something up with their starting rotation. But I still like them better than FIU. FIU's 2-2 on the year. They have not played a single team that is their quality level. They've played 2 Division II schools, and then they lost 2 road bye games to Nebraska and LSU. This is a 100% transfers team. They start 2 underclassmen. One of them is a true freshman. You don't know what you're getting with this team. Like, you can have no information. They've played 2 Division IIs and then 2 Power 4s. Like, I'm not laying 2.5 points with FIU. No, thank you. Give me James Madison plus the 2.5. All right, then finally, we have our almost bets. I was real close to putting my hard-earned money on an Ivy League school, but then I remembered I can't do that because the Ivy League sucks. So I almost bet Princeton plus 6.5 at Bradley. Couldn't do it. But if Princeton does cover this number, I think I'm going to start taking them. Princeton, they're not good so far this year, but it is historically a very good program. They develop talent very well. Coaching is fantastic. They're going to figure it out. Next one, USC Boise State. This line is just absurd. USC almost lost a home game to Troy if it wasn't for a last-second 3-point shot that should never have gone in. Boise State, ever since losing to that Division II Hawaii school, has looked really good. I don't mind them, plus 5.5 at a neutral. And then finally, St. John's plus 115. Slick Rick Pitino kind of has a place in my heart. I really like his roster. Iowa State, normally when playing big games in the non-conference, lose. That's just kind of what they do as a program. So give me Slick Rick Pitino plus 115 on the shmoney line. All right, that's going to do it for me in this video. I appreciate you guys tuning in and watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.